All right, so we are up to the closing ceremony session right now. It is the Excellence Awards. We do this every year, and I will be proud to introduce Dan Tyler. He does a great job every year, so if we give a round of applause for Dan, he will take it from here.
Oh, muted. Sorry, thanks. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon and welcome to the annual WisDOT Design Awards 2022 edition. Welcome back. It's great to be back here with you in the Dells. It's great to see everybody. Thank you for being here. We had a lot of extra network time today. I was really happy to connect with a lot of old friends, and I'm hoping to still have some energy and voice left for another few minutes of presentation here today. Glad to be back and to present this year's Design Awards. Let me start off by thanking the 9 people you see on the screen who volunteered to be judges for this year's awards. I'm grateful for their time and honest perspective. We all see these projects differently, so the judging panel is intentionally diverse, including state FHWA and consultants, men and women, northern, southern part of the state, some steady, some rotating. We judge on the criteria published. At the bottom line, we are focused on being fair. Would you please join me in a round of applause thanking this year's judges? And if the presenters would please come on up and join me on the stage. Chris from ACEC and Scott from the administrator's office. The criteria we use for judging are based on the department's values. So in addition to giving recognition to individuals who have earned it through their hard work, this presentation is also aimed at highlighting some of the ways that your peers have skillfully handled the problems that they've faced. Admittedly, I do still hear sort of a yearning for a different time sometimes, that somehow only new alignment or heavy reconstruction work can merit a design award. But year over year, really this field is filled with a range of projects, some that really demonstrate expert problem solving. So we've put a lot of time into adjusting the judging criteria so that projects of different scopes can still compete fairly. And I think we've ended up with a pretty darn good contest here. So let's get this show on the road. Ladies and gentlemen, our first category this year, I'd like to open the ceremony with the structures categories. They usually come later on. These are unique projects. They highlight the collaboration between the regions and the Bureau of Structures. So to give them a little time in the limelight, let's start with the best structure by WisDOT category this year. From the WisDOT side of the house, the North Central region nominated their State Trunk 80 Yellow River Bridge in Wood County. It's not particularly expensive or an especially busy highway, but its design efforts were able to uniquely protect many sensitive species. The project reconstructs a 2-span steel girder bridge on old timber piling with a new pre-stressed concrete girder featuring just 1 span over the stream. Notably, the project was part of the BOS BIM initiative, that's Building Information Modeling. Some of us heard a breakout about this remarkable technology, and being implemented, really, it was the first, the abutment was fully completed in Revit, the first such effort for BOS. Thank you to Tim Hanley, the region's PM, and Adam Swirzek, the BOS design engineer. The Northwest region nominated their State Trunk 85 bridge over Rock Creek in Dunn County. Ladies and gentlemen, would you please welcome our first winners today, Adam Swirzek from BOS and Tyler Rongstad from Northwest region. This nomination captured the judge's interest not just for its beauty and complexity, but also its intrigue. The existing, as they called it, Frankenbridge, had remnants of several previous projects, several old structures. A mill was on site, along with a dam. Well, whose dam, you might ask? Well, its legal owners could not be determined, so DNR abandoned it, partnered with WisDOT to address it. And this project included updates to an adjacent park where the mill's grinding stone rests in perpetuity. Back to the structure, it did require a good deal of coordination. Being in a sag vertical curve, the haunches required in-depth design. Sitting on weathered bedrock, the foundations included pre-board piling. A tricky project and a well-done design. Congratulations. Thanks, Adam. Well done, you and the BOS. And so for Adam and anybody who is bringing home hardware today, I invite you to come back after the presentation. Jane from CSS is here with the camera, and so if we want to restage some pictures, maybe invite the rest of your team. We can do that right afterwards. Just meet Jane and the squad after over on the side of the stage. So the next category is Best Structure Design by a Consultant. And as it turns out, there was only one nomination for this year's Best Structure Designed by a Consultant. It's the Red River Bridge on County Trunk A, submitted by JT Engineering and North Central Region. When a project runs uncontested, it's not a shoo-in. The judges still evaluate it against all of our criteria. And this one measures up. Come on down, you're a winner. Andy Block and Vince DeFrancis from JT, please come on down. And Stacy Hagenbuscher from WisDOT. Received the award for State Trunk 85. There's only one crossing for miles. It spans an environmentally sensitive resource. The existing through girder had section loss and was posted at 30 tons, so the design PS&E date was accelerated 20 months to allow for construction in 2021. You don't often see a single span replaced with 3 spans, but this was selected to minimize superstructure height, maintain adequate freeboard, and minimize changes to the profile. It also kept a pier out of the middle of the river, where impacts to spawning habitats would be high. The deck design perpetuated the existing sidewalk while updating the rails. At the deck edges, stainless flashing should help reduce chloride penetration, and the extra heavy riprap is expected to protect the abutment berms from high flows. Well done, JT Engineering, and congratulations. Thanks, guys. You might have noticed the winners are not being invited to give victory speeches. That was one thing about last year's pre-recorded presentation. We were able to include some more voices. Did you guys like the show last year? Have some fun with that? Thanks. I had some fun with that myself. So until we are able to hire a proper band that can cut someone off, I don't think we're ready for live speeches. I know Stacy, for example, could get very long-winded. She likes to public speak a lot. So maybe someone is coordinating an after party where additional speeches could be heard. Okay, let's have a look at the roadway categories next, starting with the urban highways. We started with 2 nominees in the urban by WisDOT category, and then one backed out. I gave a call to the PM who withdrew that nomination, and they said their project included complex staging, local streetscaping, temporary pedestrian accommodations, and transit operations, but thought that since it was a rehab project that it somehow didn't apply to the awards. So the nominee for urban design is State Trunk 66, right up by I-39 and the Stevens Point Airport. And here to accept the award on behalf of North Central Region, come on down, Mike Kretschmer, please. Let's hear it for the 66 team. Mark Steidel, the project manager, wasn't feeling well today and didn't come down, and so Mike, although he said he had very little to do with the project, is in fact on the team up there and has promised to return this plaque to Mark Steidel in the Rapids office. I'll stop by there later and Check on that. This project is a fine example of a cost-effective solution intended to improve safety at the northbound ramp terminal, improve ride quality, and reduce long-term maintenance. It's unfortunate that Mark isn't here. I wanted to read what he wrote in his submittal because I thought this was brilliant. Mark, if you're watching on our live webcast today, I thought you said it best. At first glance, this project may seem like the runt of the litter, low cost, short duration, less bid items, and an unassuming highway, not typically the characteristics of a prize winner. However, when you look beyond the external appearance, the focus of the web of challenges associated with maximizing roadway life, combining new with old, and accommodating future projects, it becomes apparent that the inner glow of asset management overshadows these external shortcomings, and in the end will leave you thinking, some project. Nice summary, so congratulations, Mark and Aaron Christensen. Thanks, Mike, for representing, and congratulations to the State Trunk 6060. All right, our next category is urban design by a consultant. Here we also had one nominee withdraw, but ended up with 3 real good ones. Here they are. First is the State Trunk 11 reconstruction project in the city of Racine. The design widened the highway and revised intersections and traffic signals. The existing pavement was constructed in 1973 and was at the end of its serviceable life. The highway remained on alignment, and several changes were implemented, including one R-cut intersection and access control in this busy corridor with more than 25,000 ADT. The project included pedestrian facilities that give people the opportunity to walk along and across the road, and it made bus stops and more than 104 curb ramps ADA compliant. One way they saved money was by televising the existing storm system and concluding that much of it was in good condition and could be left in place. Thanks to Jeff Raymer from EXP and Gary Metzer from WisDOT for this nomination. Next up, we have a nomination from the Southwest region, US 51 in downtown Portage. KL Engineering was the designer, and I'm pleased to announce that it is this year's winner. Come on down, Aaron Steger from KL and David Schmidt from WisDOT. The KL Engineering design brought together a multimodal facility situated between an urban setting and a levee of the Wisconsin River. This was one of the best nominations in terms of discussing the alternatives considered. There were certainly many. This particular complex intersection at DeWitt Street was studied with an ICE, and in the end, a reconfigured signal is expected to outperform a roundabout. And through the middle of that intersection, you'll see, runs the Portage Canal. In cooperation with the city, DNR, Park Service, and others, this navigable canal was improved. After all, the place is called Portage. Does anybody know when Portage showed up on our maps? I thought this was neat, and they discussed in the nomination. You guys remember? Yeah? Lewis and Clark put it there in 1673, according to the nomination, and the Portage Canal here was dug by hand in 1850. Today, it's the largest city in Columbia County. The project also modified and extended sidewalks, made new and improved connections to the adjacent Ice Age National Scenic Trail. Fine project, and congratulations. Well, 230 miles north is another project on US 51 that really caught the judge's attention. In the same category, just north of Hurley, next to the Michigan border, lies the intersection of US 51 and US 2. The existing intersection you see in the picture was grade separated. The bridge was suffering from structural deficiencies as well as limited vertical clearance. So Ayers asked the tough question, what is the problem and what is the best way to solve it? May I please invite Andy Dana from Ayers and Kai Keelan from WisDOT up to the stage while I tell you a little more about what happened next. So Ayers did a really good job of weighing out a wide range of alternatives in terms of cost, OSOW accommodations, expected safety performance, and long-term maintenance. In the end, the preferred alternative was a single-lane roundabout with bypass lanes. It maintains connections, occupies a smaller footprint, and cost at least $2 million less than reconstructing the interchange. Also making good use of the footprint, the 4-lane highway leading into the roundabout was modified to a 2-lane divided, intended to also feed more safely into that roundabout. A couple of interesting details. This is a popular route for bicycling, especially in summer. There aren't many roads up here. So the design included crossings through the roundabout. And in the wintertime, hold on. We got to clap for you yet. I haven't told them what is happening yet. In the wintertime, the area averages nearly 200 inches of snow, so the intersection was raised 4 to 5 feet, balancing earthwork on site and aiming to keep the roundabout high and dry. So in conclusion, we are pleased to offer this project, to honor this project with a special recognition. So congratulations, Andy, Kai, and your team. Let's hear it for 2 and 50 months. Thanks. All right. Let's move out to the rural projects. There were 4 nominees from WisDOT. First is State Trunk 32, coming into the village of Pulaski, nominated by the Northeast region. This was a cold-in-place recycling and resurfacing effort on about 5 miles. It also included a bridge deck overlay, box culvert extensions, pier encapsulation, and resurfacing a roundabout. Culvert and box culvert work was set up to avoid in-stream restrictions, and the project was completed so the road could be open not just for the start of school, but also for the Pulaski Polka Days. Thanks project leader Kelsey Holmes and project manager Andrew Fulzer for sending this one in. The Southeast region nominated a project on 21 miles of I-41 in Washington County. The project included pavement resurfacing, bridge replacement, and a new median barrier system. The project was $21 million, and the nomination focused on this new cable barrier system. This was HISSIP work directly responding to a statewide cross-median crash analysis. In fact, unfortunately, during the design phase alone, there were 2 additional fatal cross-median crashes. So the project focused on this cable barrier system, and shortly after it was installed, it was put to the test by this semi, which otherwise may very well have crossed the median to the other side, resulting in a much more serious crash. Thanks to the lead designer, Carlos Anguiano, and the PM, and Chris Hager, WisDOT, the PM, lead design Carlos, PM Chris, and WisDOT's roadside standard engineer, Eric Emerson. Northwest Region's nomination was the Hanley Road interchange in the city of Hudson. At $500,000, this half-mile project implemented the asset management approach with a rehabilitation project. The pavement condition caused the region to choose an expedited design schedule. In the end, the design cost came in at 10%, nearly half the expected rate. Thank you, designer Vidar Sanchez and project manager Nicholas Pitch. Okay, so that brings us to the 4th nomination, State Trunk 22 in Montello, or near Montello in Marquette County. Would you please come on down, Dan Holloway and Bryce Schleicher from the North Central region. And Bryce from State Trunk 22. This is a great example of how just because it's perpetuation doesn't mean there aren't interesting problems to engineer. Once the team dug in, they found that stakeholders included a large Amish population, a food bank, a caterpillar farm, migrant worker housing. One of the details Bryce worked through was this cattle pass, where outdated beam guard was able to be removed altogether, thanks in part to a new custom end walls. And look at these girls, they love it. Actually, the pass had been a point of conflict between the department and landowner for years. And so we hope the new design will restore some trust here in the dairy state. The shoulders and the placement of beam guard took into consideration Amish users who regularly drive buggies on the highway as well. Thanks, Dan, Bryce, and your team, and congratulations. Okay, 2 more categories, friends, and then you're on the road. It's been a fun conference. I sense that people are getting fatigued. Maybe if you're anything like me, we had a lot of extra networking, and it's kind of exciting, but also maybe a little exhausting to talk to people for that long all day. Wow. So 2 more. We have rural, and then the grand finale will be the local program category. Okay, the first rural nominee comes from the Southwest region on State Trunk 19 near I-39 in Dane County. The project addressed structural deficiencies on the existing Yahara River Bridge. Because the river is an important resource, open grass ditches were included to help improve water quality, and a new road for recreational access was included. State Trunk 19 was expanded from 2 lanes to 4 with a median, expecting considerable commercial development, and R. Hagan, the WisDOT project manager. North Central Region and HNTB nominated their State Trunk 29 and County Trunk U intersection project in Shawano County. This $3 million project included HISSUP money to address this location of interest for its high crash rate, especially severe ones. They evaluated many alternatives and used a trailer-mounted camera to get a better sense of the traffic patterns. In the end, a hybrid J-turn design, along with sight distance improvements, is expected to perform best, still in a cost-effective way. The design team shared their work with the public and noted that extra effort to deliver their first recorded PIM was part of the effort. The judges noted this as something that definitely took effort, but didn't give out any extra points for it, as we discussed, because implied in the word pandemic is that everybody had to deal with it. So I do think it's important to mention, though, just what remarkable effort each one of us have put in over the last couple of years, especially when it comes to connecting with stakeholders, connecting with the public. So thanks to everybody who has put forth and continues to put forth extra effort in that regard. Southeast Region nominated a project that combined resurfacing on State Trunk 60 and a roundabout on County Trunk Y. It also is a combination of consultants, Collins Engineers and EMCS. Both of these combinations resulted in project-wide collaboration and increased efficiency. The roundabout was one of several intersection alternatives and required a good deal of public involvement. A closure and detour covered both projects. Thank you, Rachel Tranel from Collins and Brian Wilson from EMCS for nominating this nomination. The next nominee comes from Northeast Region and MSA, a project on Highway 76 in Winnebago County. Would you please come on down, Ben Wilkinson from MSA and Bill Bertrand from WisDOT. You are the winners. This project emphasized enhancing safety by correcting roadway deficiencies while minimizing environmental, social, and real estate impacts. The project tackled not 1, but 3 major intersections with roundabouts, each of them sized only as big as they needed to be. There were gaps in the splitter islands that allowed property owner access. Although strip acquisition was needed, the project regraded ditches to achieve desirable drainage. On the $10 million project, there were only 2 change orders, neither of which were design-related, and 66% of the bid items were within 2% of planned quantity. The 2 low bidders were only about $10,000 apart, testament to the plan quality. Congratulations. Okay, our final category this afternoon is the local program. And again, this year, it might have been the most hotly contested. I think that there's some great stuff in here. Let's see what you think. Northwest Region and CBS Squared submitted their County Trunk D project in Eau Claire County. This rehabilitation effort featured a few elements we often see, like paved shoulders and beam guard updates. One particular concern for locals was the Green Meadow Road intersection, where sight distance was improved and a right turn lane added. The new 4-inch asphalt pavement sits on the pulverized old pavement, which was injected with a foamed AC asphalt stabilizing agent to produce a higher quality base. thank you to Ross Johnson from CBS Squared and Matthew Thornson, the local program project manager. The second nominee comes from the North Central region, and SEH. It's the City of Waupaca Main Street project. This effort reconstructed 5 blocks of historic downtown and was focused on helping that space thrive. Design elements balanced motor vehicle operations with improved pedestrian safety and access to the downtown businesses. You can see the extra emphasis on converting otherwise dead space to bump outs, which also made ADA-compliant curb ramps a lot easier with the building constraints. One signal was determined to be no longer necessary and was changed to a stop control. Work included lighting, stormwater improvements, geocell plantings, and this revised intersection at Granite Street. Thank you and well done, Dan Penscover and your team at SEH, and Jason Schaefer from WisDOT. The next nominee is from the Southwest region and MSA. It's called Milwaukee Street, and it's in Janesville. Like Waupaca, this $3.3 million urban reconstruction really challenged the designers with its tight urban constraints. Some of the utilities were 130 years old. The result is intended to inspire economic growth and community engagement. It came through to the judges that MSA's equitable approach to safety intends to slow and calm motorist traffic in this bustling historic district. Unwarranted signals were removed from 3 intersections. Turn lanes that had been added to streamline traffic movement were only worsening the safety problems. The design right-sizes the road for the context and uses some of the first raised intersections in Wisconsin. Thanks to Brian Hubrits from MSA, Zachary Pearson from WisDOT, this project, Milwaukee Street in Janesville, was this year's runner-up. And so finally, the team at R.A. Smith partnered with the City of Brookfield and WisDOT to deliver the Calhoun Road project. They navigated design and environmental challenges to expand this important route from a 2-lane rural roadway into a 4-lane divided with continuous pedestrian facilities. Would you please come on down, Brad Severson and Dan Whitefoot from R.A. Smith, Jeff Chase, the city engineer from the City of Brookfield, and David Guyen from WisDOT. You are this year's winners. Congratulations also to Kathy Kramer, the WisDOT local program project manager, who has since retired. I guess if I were faced between the decision to retire or hang on to take my design award plaque, I guess Kathy probably made a good choice there. One of the judges noted that this project had a little of everything. Public involvement to the tune of 5 PIMs, a 4F trail, moving a shed, a significance box culvert, and drainage work that should exceed 44% of TSS removal. Some topography, limited sight distance, and crashes resulted as traffic increased. Retaining walls and some split profile sections helped limit impacts. A wood fence was used along part of the sidewalk to improve pedestrian safety near the box culvert and walls. Through a marsh area, the standard 24-foot median was narrowed to 10 feet since its only function was to separate opposing traffic, thereby reducing wetland impacts. One final element I'll note is a significant change to the Canadian Pacific Railroad crossing, noted in the nomination as, quote, a ride Evel Knievel would be proud of. Not only that, but with 11 trains per day, queues sometimes reaching upwards of 4,000 feet, and then, of course, some drivers would crash into the back of the queue, not expecting it. So all of these, they certainly had their work cut out for them. Let's hear it for the R.A. Smith team and this year's local program winner. Well, every year I spend a lot of time putting this presentation together, hoping it will do at least 2 things. 1, give credit to the people who create these fine projects, and 2, to share some ideas, methods, or best practices with all of you so that you might get some encouragement and inspiration for your work too. I always come to the end of the script hoping to wrap up with something inspiring. Maybe I could just give a nod this time to the fact that we've all had to overcome a lot in the last couple of years, and yet we still kept on doing the work, obviously. I know that many of you have been very busy. You've had a ton to juggle. It can feel hard to come up for a breath of air sometimes even, but it's more important than ever to do just that. Maybe it's just a pause and a deep breath here and there. Maybe it's a short connecting conversation. Maybe it's a quick recognition of your coworkers' hard work. And that's just what we're doing here, taking a minute to pick our heads up from the grindstone, look around, taking a minute to say that all-important thank you and good work to our partners around the state. So thanks to everyone who tuned in. If you loved it, you can watch it again and again on the YouTube channel. We'll share the link. Thanks again to the judges. Thank you to the teams who nominated the 25 projects, and congratulations to today's 8 winners. There really are many successes around us, large and small, so please keep your eyes open and your heads up. And until next time, happy spring. Keep up the good work. Thank you.
We're at the end here. First, thanks to all the winners, and thanks for everyone coming. This couldn't have been done without Todd and DOT and everyone else that helped volunteer for the entire conference. Couple of things. Next year's co-chairs will be Tara Weiss from the Northwest and Jed Monroe from JT Engineering. So they'll be starting the planning again here in September. So looking for any feedback that you might have on what we could do better next time for the next year's event. Remember, for the app, look for the PDH credits. If you want to get those, you have to fill that out, and anything in the evaluations in the app itself. Your name tags, they'd like those back if you could over there. Otherwise, thanks for everyone for coming, and safe travel.